Hey guys, welcome to Make It Dairy Free. I am Larisha.
I am Andrew, and today we are taste testing 5 of the most popular butters out there on the market, vegan of course, and these are actually the ones, or I should say the top ones that you guys recommended. Yes,
we actually asked on our Instagram stories and pretty much everyone said this one, or this one. So Miyoko's Earth Balance or Country Crock. There was some Flora mixed in there and some Melt, so we found all 5 of them. There were a couple other ones here and there, but these I think are the most popular ones, so that's what we're going with.
So what we're doing with the butters, we're gonna be taste testing them on bread, and then we're also going to see how they hold up as frosting. Most butters we feel like that we've used have baked up in every baked good pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of considerations obviously, but for the most part, that's what we're gonna be doing today.
And so just so they understand what by consideration what you mean is that like sometimes you feel like if like water is the main ingredient versus the oil as the main ingredient, that you feel like that has a difference. I don't know what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I was wondering what you're trying to say too. So she's asking that because I bake the most out of us, and typically what I'm looking for is a butter that is a higher, has higher fat content whenever I'm going to bake. And obviously that means it has more oil, but between the water and oil base, if you have more fat, that's usually a better thing to bake with than to have more water, because then usually that adds too much to your baked goods.
I don't know. I mean, maybe people can tell from the actual recipe videos that we do that you are the baker, but I wonder how many people that surprises that you're the one that bakes way more than me.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys find that interesting? So the reason that we're doing toast and then in a side of a recipe, which is we're going to be doing the frostings, is because there were quite a few comments that said that like they like one particular butter on toast, but then they use a different butter inside of their recipes.
Yeah.
I also think that that also has to do with like a price. So for the most part, people said they like the Miyokos on toast, but that they used like Country Crock or Earth Balance for like their baked goods. And I'm thinking that's because Miyoko's is like $8.
Oh, okay.
And like everything else is cheaper. So they're like, well, it doesn't matter if it's like in the cake, but like if it's on my toast, like...
So you know what? That could be a price point, but just from my experience with Miyoko's, and since you brought up Country Crock, I'll say that Miyoko's has, from what I remember, like a bit more of a savory flavor to butter. Like most of their cheeses and almost anything that they make, it's like more on the savory side of stuff. Country Crock is extremely neutral in terms of butter, so I think that's why I would do it. Because I would like my toast to be more savory than I would like not being able to taste nothing on the toast, if that makes sense.
I'm like completely like interested to see how this goes, because I'm like, isn't just like vegan butter is vegan butter, isn't it? Like, is there going to be something that's like, wow, this is definitely so much better?
No, not all butters are created equal by no means.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be like, I don't notice a difference. I
also do most of the cooking, as you can tell, inside of the house.
No, you don't.
What?
I do like dinners and stuff.
Well, you do dinner videos. I don't know if you do the cooking.
Wow.
But anyway, I guess we can move on before she tries to hit me.
All right, so let's grab the bread and toaster and try it out. All right, so is there one you wanted to like try first? Does it matter, do you think?
I don't care. Why don't you pick? You're kind of the butter novice here. Why are you making that face?
I'm a butter novice?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You don't know what a novice is?
Is it like a beginner?
Come on, man. This is you like come on. That's like a word you learn in like 5th grade, probably even younger. Come on, when you play like video games, you had to like choose like your level of like how hard you wanted it to be. Like novice was like the very first one, and then it would be
so
like,
I was right.
Yeah, you're right. It's just weird that you're like acting clueless about it. Like,
wait, so you're saying like you're like a butter aficionado?
That's not what I said. I'm just saying like, why wouldn't you pick? Because it would probably be more fun to you. Like just. At least that was my thought. If you want me to pick, I'll pick.
No, it's okay. We're just gonna.
Are we having a mini argument right now?
No, this is just us.
This is a mini argument right now.
No, it's not. Okay, we're just gonna go this way to this way. So we are starting with Miyoko's. This is their cashew-based one. They do also now have an oat one, but it's not as easily found. So this has cashews, I just said that, and coconut as well. It also contains sunflower for those of you who cannot have that. So it's also, it's 8 ounces, and I think it might be the smallest one. No, but Flora is also 8 ounces.
What's wrong?
Nothing. So it looks like this. It has the measurements like right on here. And then, so each package is approximately 1 cup.
Is the whole thing recyclable? Like, is this part and that recyclable? Do you know?
I don't know.
This is probably usually recyclable. I don't know about this. The only reason I ask is I really like when I can recycle the whole thing whenever using it.
Right, which is what Flora like always talks about, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can recycle the packaging. It doesn't feel like you could.
Yeah.
But what does that say something? Oh no, it just says it says contains nuts too. Okay. All right, here you go. All right, so I figured we could just do like half, and then we will split each of those in half. So we're not eating
Huh? Half,
like,
and we split them in half?
Like put Miyoko's on half, and then each of us get a half of that, so we're not eating like 12 pieces of bread.
Got it. Understood.
I'm gonna take the video. I got a new phone. So I'm gonna take the video of what this one looks like.
You gotta make sure you got the right frame rate going there.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. Andrew does all the video stuff. So Miyoko's is the most expensive one out of the whole video. It is $6 to $7 per package. Can I have some?
I wasn't sure what was going on. I'm just waiting. I was so clueless. Huh.
For those of you that have had the cashew and the oat one, I'm curious what you think is the better one. So since we only have one here, ready?
Uh-huh. Oh, come on.
Like, it's good. I just don't, I'm laughing because like, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to like tell the difference.
You can definitely tell the difference. This has like the teeniest hint of sweetness to it. Really savory. Good amount of salt inside of there. I think they use sea salt.
It says hint of sea salt.
Yeah. It's just like the perfect amount. I'd recommend definitely using Miyoko's, only because it's expensive too. Just like carefully. Definitely wouldn't use it in baking and stuff because your whatever your baked good is already costs $8 as soon as you use that.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I was like, wait, what?
Oh wait, what am I doing right now?
You're waiting for me to give you.
I was literally about to put this back on there. Like, wait, hold on.
You're like, I like it so much that I'm going to do this. All right, so this is Melt Organic.
Never heard of it.
We've had it.
Really?
We haven't. Their sticks.
We've had this?
Yes, their sticks are new. We've had all of these.
I feel like I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
At all.
Their sticks are new, but it's been in a tub and we have had it before.
When is this? Like when we first became vegan?
Yes.
How am I supposed to remember that?
Where are the ingredients? Right here. This one also contains coconut. It also has sunflower inside of it. No other top allergens. We found, so basically beside the Flora, we had partnered with them for a couple months, and so we had some of that left over, but you can find Flora in Kroger and Weiss stores. Everything else we found at our local Acme, which is a Albertsons brand, if you guys have that near you. But one, you said you didn't want to try like 90 different butters. So I was like, I'm going to one store and whatever I can find besides us having the Flora, like that's what we're doing.
Also, Flora, reason this is one of my favorite is because when baking, they do have a salted, which is the version we have here, and they also have an unsalted, which is typically blue. But they're completely recyclable, and they have the measurements on here. And one of these blocks is actually 2 sticks of butter, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it's actually the same as the Miyoko's. Miyoko's is also 1 cup, so
it's one whole cup of butter. Yeah, except it's also not as expensive.
The Flora.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $5 instead of $7 to $8. All right, ready?
Yep. What? Oh, there's a huge difference in color on the 2 that we have here. I don't know if
I didn't do that.
Did you do any recording? What?
I can taste the difference. All right, so this is, look at me doing the little videos and my hair's on there. All right.
That's gross.
So that's what this one looks like. And you can see the color difference there is much more yellow. This also looks like a block of cream cheese than Miyoko.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. This tastes like oil.
Yeah?
You don't think so? I don't mind this though. Like I would eat this on butter. I mean,
You seem to be eating butter on butter a lot.
I've
That's
said-
like the second time you've said that today. I don't know if the other one you said on camera. No, right?
What do you think?
I like it. I don't think it tastes like oil.
Gross.
You had said your hair was somewhere.
Oh.
I was like,
I thought you were
what?
taking a bite at the same time, and you were like, "Oh, that's gross."
Oh, no. I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying your hair necessarily on something was gross.
Yeah.
More about the fact that I couldn't find the hair. It
Oh.
was gross. Like, I guess I'm just too used to it.
Yeah. Maybe we leave these out in case we want to test it again.
Okay. I was literally trying to fold it up all nicely and put it back.
Oh, sorry. So out of these two, what do you like more? We need a napkin.
Yes.
You can keep
So, okay. Out of these two, the one I like more, I don't know, to be honest with you. I think, honestly, I like them evenly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy one over the other. You know me, the biggest thing for me is pricing.
It's the price.
But taking both consideration of pricing and taste, right now I would be going with this because the Miyoko's one isn't setting itself apart very far in terms of flavor.
But that's because you know the price. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. If I didn't know the price, I would want to know the price first. But if I didn't know the price, I still would just be like, I'm in between.
Yeah.
I'm only saying I have to consider price in order to choose.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does the
I didn't even start
milk
toasting
one?
this. Come on, Tanya.
Does the milk one taste like margarine? No. Yeah.
I honestly think this one tastes more like to me it tastes more milky. Like this tastes like
Creamier.
yes.
Yes.
So that's what I feel here. I don't mind the taste at all. I actually really like it.
No, I do too, but like so before going vegan, you had like margarine, which may or may not be vegan.
Yeah.
And then you had like butter. To me, this has like more of a margarine taste.
Yeah.
But I do like it.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever.
I mean, yeah, if you like margarine, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think margarine was usually cheaper, or we had coupons for it. My parents, if they had a coupon for it, it's what we had in the house. So.
Do you say and not wrong
Here
or
we
right?
go.
It don't even matter if you're wrong or right. I just want to know if you say coupons or do you say coupons?
I say coupon.
And I say coupons. And again, it doesn't matter because everybody says something different. It's just me and her always mess with each other in terms of pecan, caramel, caramel. We just mess with each other in terms of how we say stuff. That's all.
Yes. All right, so this is Earth Balance. This is the original one. Earth Balance has like 25 different packages.
Yeah.
Earth Balance is the one for a long time that we recommended. If you need a soy-free one, it is very easy to find their soy-free tub. They do also have sticks that are harder to find. This one contains a vegetable oil blend, but so inside of that is soy. It also has pea protein and sunflower for those of you who cannot have that. Ready?
All right, there you go.
You moving it along?
Yeah, no, so I was gonna ask a question about Earth Balance. Is the entire Earth Balance line vegan?
Yes.
So all of them are vegan?
Yes.
So I noticed that some people sometimes get Smart Balance and Earth Balance confused. Do you see that?
Absolutely. And Smart Balance, from my understanding, I don't think that they have a vegan one. But I will Google it really quickly and then tell you guys. Smart Balance.
So Earth Balance definitely has one that would normally fit your diet if you can't find it anywhere else, because they literally have like 40 of this kind. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's a lot. Where'd you find it?
So it looks like Smart Balance has one that is vegan, but the main one that is on, like the original one, is not. So just be really careful. I guess if you like that.
Does it call it out?
It says dairy-free butter on it. But that's not this one though.
You typically always try to remind me to record. I guess since you're recording. Oh my
goodness, I'm not used to this.
You're forgetting.
Well, I guess this is.
Also, this Earth Balance one, believe it or not, is more yellow in color than what it looks like even the Melt one was. Yeah. So we're getting down the line. They're getting more
yellow.
More yellow in hue as it goes on.
Ready?
Yeah.
I feel like Earth Balance is like the OG too. They've been around forever. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is my favorite so far. Melt just has like a little overpowering taste. Earth Balance is very like smooth and subtle. Whereas Miyoko's like it's very pronounced, whatever that savory, I guess cashewy flavor is inside of their butter.
Yeah.
But I love Earth Balance.
Yeah, me too. Earth Balance is, I won't say anything about these ones so far, but Earth Balance is definitely one of the go-tos for like an all-around butter. Yeah. I like it no matter what I'm doing with it, you know?
Yeah. And so, and again, like that is the one that has has like all the different ones. So I just wanted to like bring it up really
all the different kinds, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Earth Balance. So they have the original, they have a soy-free, they have an organic one, they have one that is made with olive oil instead of like all the different ones. And I'm pretty sure they have more. Those are just the ones that I saw quickly.
So this is always tough for me because I like to see things on the outside before I buy it. But this doesn't have like the ratio of that like oil in here, like how much oil to water it is. Usually we'll say it right on the front. So for example, like the Earth Balance one, right next to the bottom here, it says butter spread, but it says 78% vegetable oil. So you want something that's very high in that content if you're gonna be using that for your baked goods.
Yeah. All right, I got you Flora.
I'm sorry, were we leaving this open?
Well, it is funny. It is funny as we go along. Like I feel like this is still even more yellow.
That's really happening right now.
So it's just really funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, if I wouldn't have seen these next to each other, I would have swore all of them outside of the Miyoko one was like the same color.
But you would have thought Miyoko's was cream cheese.
Very true. Yeah, they definitely need a label on that in order for me to know what to do with it.
Yeah. So what Andrew was talking about earlier with like the packaging, like Flora literally comes in like this paper, dropping stuff.
Just gonna throw the butter?
Inside this paper packaging, which says that it's recyclable, and like that's it. So if you're one of those people that like is zero waste as much as you possibly can, this is the one to get as far as that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely as little as possible.
All right, there we go.
Ready?
Yep. Let's get Tanya going for the last bit we need, and we can taste this guy. What's your thoughts?
It's creamy. It's it has one of the best flavors so far. You don't get like a chemically taste with it.
Okay.
Not that like these have like, I think the Melt definitely has like one of those like artificial tastes. I compared it to margarine.
Okay.
But I don't get it with this.
On the front of this, 79% oil. Similar to this, which was 78.
Obviously, this video is not for those of you that are oil-free.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
So what's your thought on Flora?
This is one of my second in terms of like really liking a butter that is neutral across the board. It's none of these butters I really like. I don't eat butter on toast like ever, to be honest with you. I mean, you should know that.
Yeah, I'll have it on bagels or sometimes, but you don't usually ever do that.
Yeah, I don't ever really eat butter like that, but I bake all the time, and anytime I'm baking, like this is definitely one of my go-tos for that purpose. So tasting it, did you just taste it just as butter? Wow, I've never seen someone do that.
My cousin used to eat sticks of butter. They would find him with like sticks of butter.
Really?
Yeah. I just want to be able to sometimes it's hard with toast. Like I want to be able to taste it.
Okay, I get you. I just, you doing that just completely made me lose my train of thought. Like I had no idea what was going on. I was like, what did I just see?
The Flora has like a hint of sweetness. You can also taste, like there is salt inside of the Earth Balance. And this is the salted version of Flora, but you can taste like that salt is like there to like pop that creamy sweetness out. It's like a sweet buttercream or
Okay.
sweet butter. Like sometimes you would have what you get with the Flora versus Earth Balance is more like neutral.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I understand. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you. I'm following.
All right.
I'm following.
I'm gonna remember.
What's that?
I remember in the video. This one is not even more yellow than the rest of them. This is back to like the milk color.
Yeah, this is right back there.
Fun fact, the parent company of Country Crock and Flora are the same brand. It is Upfield. So I always think that's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting to know. I was also...
BioLife is also owned by the same company.
That I didn't know.
Now you know. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I don't remember. It was
You
something.
were pointing to one of the other brands. Were you gonna say, I had said like something about them being owned parent company? Sorry.
Oh no, you had said something about like buttercream earlier. While you were speaking, and I was gonna say, I was pointing down there basically to say that Miyoko's is another one I wouldn't use for buttercream whatsoever.
That's because of the taste or because of the price?
Both.
Got it.
Absolutely both.
Okay, ready?
Yep. Like I'm not dealing with an $8 buttercream. That's just crazy.
Yeah. You toasted this one a little bit longer. I just taste like the toast.
May I have
Napkin?
part of your napkin or the napkin?
I feel like Country Crock tastes the closest to traditional butter.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like what I'm saying, but
Sense, or are you asking do I agree? Because if it makes sense, yes, I completely understand what you're saying.
yeah, like when I taste it like this, like it tastes close to what I remember.
I've never tasted butter like that. The first time for everything.
It's not bad.
I think I'm just weirded out by it.
Yeah, well, because most people don't go around eating sticks of butter. You're right.
Yeah, I'm just weirded out by it.
But okay,
But
like
no,
if I had
nothing's wrong with it.
some people are gonna probably like throw something at their TV. I think Miyoko's is great on toast. I don't necessarily think that it's worth the price. Melt is good if that's what you can find, but there's a little bit of an artificial margarine taste there that I don't think can outweigh the rest of them. I would like over and over again purchase these three. I like the hint of sweetness on my toast that I get from the Flora.
Mm-hmm.
Country Crock tastes most like what I remember original butter tasting like.
Mm-hmm.
And then Earth Balance just has like the best of everything summed up in one little package.
Okay.
I don't know that I can necessarily like rank them. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like
So you can't rank any of these?
I don't know. What do you have a ranking?
I do. I'll put them in order of what I think.
Okay. I'll
And
put the lid on here.
I can't say that it's a fair order. Like 1, 2, and 3 are literally number 1 to me because I would purchase, as you said, any of these 3 at any given point because I can use them all around for everything. Great price point. And I've been able to bake with all 3 of them. I've been able to now put them on toast and taste them. I've been able to make buttercreams with them. Like they pretty much hold up under every circumstance that I can think of.
Yeah.
So I like all 3 of these. This I thought I didn't taste before, but you said when we first went vegan, we tasted it. I don't have any qualms with this. I mean, if this, would I buy this again? Possibly, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't necessarily go looking for it because I already have 3 butters that I'm in love with, and I've already like tested. Everything okay here?
I just knocked my earring back out. That's all.
Oh, okay. I started raining jewelry. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, so like I already have 3 butters that are kind of, you know, this didn't blow me out of the water enough for me to be like, you know what, no.
Right.
You know?
I get that.
But would I purchase this over Miyoko's? Yes, because you told me this was $5.
I don't think I gave you a price. I can look it up really quickly.
If this is $5 or even something closer to it, like I'm getting 2 cups of butter in comparison to 1, and you said this was if this is $5.
$5.
Okay, this is $5 and this is $8 and I'm only getting 1. It's a no-brainer. And as far as taste goes, I would definitely choose Miyoko's to buy, but literally only use it at special moments. It would be like my china in the cabinet or something. Like you pull it out at special moments and then you put it back. That would be it.
But it only lasts for about 3 weeks. So.
Yeah, but that's my point. By that time it'd be old, right? Like, or at least it's supposed to be. I'd probably still be eating it because I'm not wasting my money. But
I don't feel good.
Yeah, my point is that like this would literally be like my china. I wouldn't even touch it unless like I'm like, all right, this is a special day. Gotta have my Miyoko's.
Yeah. Do you think like is Miyoko's the one that you pull out for like when other people come over, or do you think that the taste of that?
I'm not paying $8 for other people to be crushing my Miyoko's butter. I'm not doing that. Like that's reckless.
So you're saying if you walked into Acme, well, first Flora's not even at Acme. So if you walked into Acme and this one was on sale for $3, you would pick this one over these. But these are like your go-to, can't fail me type of butters.
Yeah, absolutely. If I just wanted butter, I know this. I mean, just looking at it, tasting it, it's enough that I would be sold. Like, let me try this in some recipes and see what happens.
Yeah.
If it was on sale, absolutely, I would definitely go grab that. And again, Miyoko's is only hitting the bottom of this list literally because of its price point. The flavor is decent to me. Like, I like it a lot. I wouldn't use it in buttercream though, even if it was cheaper though.
And honestly, I think that's why Country Crock, like so many people said Country Crock is their go-to.
Yeah.
And I think the price point is why. I can find this on sale, like an actual sale for $3.99.
Yeah.
For a pound of it.
That's beautiful.
And you have to take that in consideration, right? This is $5. The Flora is $5, but it's only 2 sticks, right? So for $4 and normal price is $4.29, $4.59. You're getting double what it costs for one of them. Yep. So I completely get it. If you are, obviously budget conscious, especially being vegan, everything is always expensive. Yep. Got to cut somewhere. But for the most part, they're on par with each other as far as pricing goes. Besides the Miyoko's being, $1 to $3 more expensive depending on where you live. I wonder if on the West Coast where they're located, if it's like easier to find, like if it's $3 over there or something like that.
I mean, I doubt it. I mean, most of the West Coast is California, and ain't nothing cheap in Cali. So
maybe vegan butter is the thing.
Maybe is the one cheap thing inside, Cali.
Californians, let us know if Miyoko's is on sale out there.
The one cheap thing in California you could get is Miyoko's butter. give us a heads up. We'll make sure to throw that out there for everybody.
I mean, your 1-bedroom apartment is like $4,000, but you can get Miyoko's for $3. So it's all about balance.
Yeah, of course.
They're probably gonna be like, no, it's $8 here. You're gonna be like, oh, come on.
I mean, but $8 in California is probably like
nothing.
Yeah, it is probably like $5. You know what I mean, or like $4. Who knows?
We love you, Cali. We do. You're just very expensive.
Hugely expensive. Like, man, I like to go out to Cali. I know I gotta have like a good amount of savings. I gotta dig in a piggy bank pretty deep in order to go to Cali.
It's so funny because like we have flown from Jersey to Florida for under $100 a ticket,
Yep.
and you cannot find tickets to Cali for under $300. So
No matter what airline you go on, it's just not happening.
right, you can't even fly Spirit, like the
Yeah.
bottom of the.
You better stop coming at Spirit. Spirit airline person be on here like.
Are they gonna sponsor us?
Like I was just thinking about contacting y'all.
Right, it's not like they have vegan food that they give out. Like you gotta buy everything there.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Well, what else? Is this it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you guys have a favorite, definitely let us know. But I definitely agree that it's hard to like rank them, and that if you can find one of these three, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
I do. Flora is new within the last 2 years. Well, in the U.S. They've been other places for a while.
Okay.
I would love to see them get into more stores because again, like I mentioned, they're only in Weiss, and which most people don't even know what that is, or it's Weiss. Weiss.
Is it W-E-I-S-S?
W-E-I-S. But I think it's Wise. But I grew up saying Weiss in West Virginia.
I'm
so
not
I don't
sure
know.
which one it is.
But they're only in there in Kroger. So I think like if they could get into more stores and drive that price down a little bit, I think that this would be the go-to for a lot more people.
Okay, yeah.
Excuse me. All right. So the way we are going to do this buttercream portion is we're going to make it off camera with each one the same amount. It's just going to be a very small portion because we don't need pounds of buttercream laying around.
We don't?
I mean, maybe you do. And then we are going to basically not time lapse it, but we're going to do small little video clips every 4-ish hours. I'm not doing it while I sleep.
You sure?
Yeah. You might get up. You want to set a timer and get up?
No, absolutely not.
And then we're going to come back in 24 hours and show you guys what each one of them looks like. And the purpose of that is to show whether it melts or not. Now, when we were discussing this video, you're like, who's leaving cake sit out for 24 hours? And you were like, I wouldn't recommend to do it.
Yeah, I mean, who's doing it? Probably everybody, but that's definitely not a recommendation.
Right.
Like the majority of the world, like, right? Like if you have cake,
it's not food safety friendly.
yeah, like if there's a better way to store it, you're gonna do that. And
Yeah.
if you have like priorities, like a party or something in that nature, you're gonna store it appropriately. But obviously, if you just made cake and you just try and knock some cake down like here and there, you're gonna let it sit on the counter. You're gonna let it sit out like wherever you feel like letting it sit.
Yeah. But basically seeing like if we're gonna have it in the same, space, so temperature controlled, and just basically seeing like, does it melt? Does it fall apart? Like if you put it on cake, would it melt off? Like that's the goal of this part of the video. So you ready to go make it? Or do you have anything else as far as that goes? My ear keeps itching. They're probably thinking I'm like super weird right now.
I think you're super weird right now.
You always think I'm super weird.
Ditto. Wait,
Did you have anything about the frosting?
I said ditto. I don't think I meant to say that. I meant to say bingo. Like ditto is what you say like when somebody's like saying something about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're also saying you're weird?
Well, 100%.
That's what I thought you were saying, but you meant to say bingo.
Yeah. I meant to say bingo, but
Oh,
ditto
God.
fits as well. No, I wasn't really gonna say anything in regards to anything important, honestly.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the whole time.
My hair's
So.
on your head.
Oh, okay. Your hair seems to be everywhere today.
Oh, I know, it's so annoying. All right, so we will be back with but not back, he's just gonna cut it. I always say that, and you always laugh at
We
me.
will be back. This is
We're gonna go make buttercream.
YouTube. If this plays, this is a perfect time for a commercial, so that way folks know we'll be back. So commercial.
Maybe we start doing that. We put sponsored commercials, and we'll be back. And then we play a commercial, and then we come back.
Actually come back.
Yeah. All right, and we're back.
Commercials that people could fast forward through.
Yeah. All right, so you can see here, this is what it looks like after all 5 of them are made. So this is the Country Crock one. And then this is Earth Balance. This is what it actually looked like when we first made it. Then we added some extra sugar to a little bit to see. Same thing with the melt. It was just too liquidy, so we added some extra sugar to see. And then we have the Flora and the Miyokos here. So we are going to leave these set for a couple of hours, and then we'll give you an update of what it looks like then. Okay, so it's been 4 hours. You can see that the melt without the added sugar is just completely disintegrated. Show you from this angle, like it's so thin. Even the one with the extra sugar is pretty thin. But the Country Crock, the Flora, and the Miyokos are holding up pretty nicely. Alright, so it's been 8 hours. Honestly, there's not much change, especially between the Country Crock, Flora, and Miyokos. The melt, now you can start to see some oil forming around the edges though. Alright, so about 16 hours at this point. Honestly, it looks pretty much exactly the same, maybe a little bit more spread with the melt, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. All right, so it's been about 24 hours. If you have seen the couple clips that we put up right before this, it was a pretty clear indication from the start of what was gonna happen. So just to let you guys know, I made all of these. Basically, we did. I used the exact same recipe that Andrew gave me for every single one. We wanted to do that in order just to show consistency across the board what would happen. But can you share like some tips, like you as the baker, like what would you have done, I guess, differently from the start?
So are we talking about like with all of them, or are you talking about just particular ones? Like,
so when I was making the earth balance, so the earth balance was the second one I made. Obviously, so this is Country Crock. It looked great straight off the bat. Earth balance, I could tell as soon as I was creaming the butter that it was more oily and more liquidy than the Country Crock. So I guess like what would you have done like immediately?
So what I would have done differently is I probably would have added probably a little bit more powdered sugar and or cornstarch. If you don't want it to be too sweet, and that would usually help fix the oiliness. But also, if it's too oily, it may be better to check the temperature on it. So buttercream's kind of weird. Whenever you're making it, it has to be at a particular temperature. It might be too oily because it might have been, too high in temperature. You want it roughly in the 70 something ish degrees.
Okay.
If the temperature's too high, that means it's like melted down already. So always start with like room temperature softened butter. If it's past that, where it's too warm because the kitchen's warm, maybe you're baking or something, then you're kind of probably got to go backwards and get a new stick and start over.
And we did, like, we wanted this to be like as controlled as possible. So all of the butters had been sitting out for the same amount of time. All of the, I added the same amount of milk, non-dairy milk and vanilla, like everything was exactly the same. But when we were talking about this off camera, you had said even adding the milk would be different. So can you explain to them like what that means?
Yeah, so if, when you're adding milk into your buttercream or frosting, you are doing that literally to bring it to a certain consistency.
Right.
If you want it to be a harder consistency, you don't want to add any milk. That's really the point of it, is just to bring the consistency down so that way you can shape it around the cake. Or again, if you're stacking them, you want it to be a tougher consistency because you don't want it to be really, pliable, I guess you could say. You don't want it to be too soft because if you stack it, it's just gonna smush.
Right.
You know what I mean? So different points, you want it to be at a different texture in a sense.
Right. So even something like the Country Crock, that this is too hard to even spread onto a cake without like crumbling the cake a little bit.
Yes.
So for something like Country Crock, you would suggest, if I'm understanding correctly, you would suggest adding maybe, another half of a tablespoon up to another full tablespoon of milk to this. But with the earth balance or the melt, we probably wouldn't have added any non-dairy milk at all.
No, you're hitting it right on the nose. Okay. And then in terms of that room temperature thing, so this is the reason that I had said, I'm familiar with this. I'm also familiar with this one as well. And Flora, but this comes in a whole tub, you know what I mean? So even though you might leave this out for 1 hour and leave this out for 1 hour, because these are separate sticks, it's like wearing mittens in the snow or wearing gloves, right? Your fingers are gonna get real tingly if you have your fingers away from each other in comparison to having them all together. So this is gonna stay colder longer, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. So I guess, so as far as these go, so the Country Crock, Flora, and Miyoko's obviously held their shape well. So if you guys didn't watch the other clips, what we have in the back here are ones that have been in the refrigerator for the full 24 hours. The ones that are in the front here have been just left out at room temperature for the full 24 hours. So the Country Crock, the Flora, and the Miyoko still held up very well. But if we're narrowing it down, the Flora looks exactly like nothing has changed with the Flora. The Country Crock you can still see spread just a slight bit, and the Miyoko's did as well. So if we're going on what works no matter what, the Flora is the winner here without a doubt. But we talked again off camera about like why, I guess how you would recommend making, if you needed to go somewhere with a cake or cupcakes or something, how you would recommend making and storing that if you don't have a ton of room to, you know, put a 3-layer cake in your fridge, because you also have like all of Thanksgiving dinner in there as well. So a couple things. If you are able to put it in the fridge, I would assemble the whole cake, and then I'd put it in the freezer, not the fridge. If it's going in the fridge for like an hour or two, that's fine, but I'd recommend the freezer. Refrigerators usually dry out cake. Okay. So put it in the freezer, and that would be like, again, if it's for like a Thanksgiving or some holiday we have to cook a lot, put it in the freezer and do that a couple days before, because once it's in the freezer, it's not gonna go bad forever. You know what I mean? So in the freezer, the cake is made and frosted in the freezer is what you're saying?
Completely assembled. Completely assembled. So you take care of everything. Now, if this is a point where you have to travel or something like that, I wouldn't recommend frosting it at all until you get to your destination. Okay. So I would recommend making the frosting, and probably, you know, you don't know if the person you're going to is gonna have the utensils you need. So bring whatever utensil. They should have a spatula at least. Most people have that, right? But yeah, I would definitely bring the utensils you need, but I would keep the frosting made inside of like a tub or something in that nature and travel with it. So refrigerate the frosting. Don't leave it out on the counter. Bring that with you to wherever your destination is and frosting it while you're there.
Yeah, like we had done this just to see like what would happen if we left it out for 24 hours. But your recommendation, whether you can frost it immediately and store it or not, would be to make the frosting and leave it in the fridge until you can frosting it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I would never recommend frosting something and leaving it on the counter. That is just a recipe for disaster, because you think about most times of the year, no matter where you are, at some point in the day it's at its peak temperature, and at some point it's at the lower temperature. Right. So you can imagine that you frost it, and you know what I mean? And at some point it may be too warm, so, and then later on it's just gonna get too cold, and it's just gonna stay like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I mean, so room temperature in our house is roughly 68 degrees, but you make a good point. Like if you live in Florida and you don't even have the air on or the heat, and it's like a constant 74, 75, like it's gonna act differently than what we're showing here too.
Yeah, the humidity will play a huge portion in that. And one other thing I wanted to say is we always get comments on cakes, usually white cakes, either with frosting or the cake itself. So like a vanilla cake, for example, is that, you know, the cake didn't come out the same color. We also get this on like coconut cake. So as you can see, we said earlier, the butters are completely different in color. So not all butters are created equal by color nor by consistency or how they're made. But if I wanted a cake that was really, really white and I wanted to spend a little extra money, the Miyoko's came out the whitest in comparison, right? So if I was making a white cake, I wanted white frosting and everything, I would go with this. It would be a really expensive cake, but that's what I would go with. Obviously, if I didn't care for that, then I would go with one of the others, but Country Crock also does a pretty good job of being the same.
And just to add to that, you can also like, it adds the slightest hint. It's really not a big difference, but using clear vanilla extract versus like a regular vanilla extract will also help. But again, these were so yellow that you're not really gonna get that super white without it. So Country Crock would be your cheapest, and then Miyoko's is honestly the best white color, because even there's a little bit of a yellow here.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a different hue there, but this is like straight up cream cheese still.
Yeah. So in conclusion, with all of that, Country Crock, Flora, Miyoko's on the more expensive end are probably your best bets to go with. But if you do like Earth Balance, especially if you need something that is on the cheaper end and soy-free, to get their soy-free one, Flora is also soy-free. What other ones were, I don't even know if I mentioned.
Allergens?
Yeah.
We normally
Miyoko's
do.
is just, I think I did, but I don't know. There's no soy in Miyoko's either, but obviously, again, we're on the even more expensive.
I think you had mentioned it because we were mentioning it when we said they had like Earth Balance has like 40 different types and stuff like that. I don't know if you mentioned it across the board though.
Yeah, Melt also
we'll see with
doesn't
the
have
video.
Soy, so really the only soy is in the Country Crock.
Yeah.
But Earth Balance has a.
I think Country Crock does too, I believe. Country Crock actually has like a couple different types. You've bought me actually, I think maybe 3 of them.
Okay.
One was avocado oil.
That's this one. Olive oil is one.
Olive oil was another one, and there's another one, but I think they have like 3 or 4 different types.
Okay, so maybe they do have a soy-free one. But yeah, so do you have anything to add as far as anything we didn't cover here?
No, I guess last thing is that, you know, typically we're using. Typically, the really big time you want to think about butter is baking. Again, it really doesn't matter anywhere else, but butter makes a huge difference in baking. So again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one, the Melt, for baking. And I said that also because it didn't have any percentage in terms of what I was saying before with the oil. But the rest of them, it looks like you'd be pretty fine. Yeah,
I'm just curious, like, so oil is obviously fat. It is interesting that if you look at the fat content on each of these, that Melt does have the lowest amount.
Yeah.
So, and you can tell, right? Like it does, it melts.
Yeah. That's exactly what it says.
It lives up to its name.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. It's just, you know, butter's important for that purpose. Other than that, you know, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah. But so would you say, like, I know we talked about like baking doesn't really matter, but would you say like with
baking does matter?
Well, I mean like in like if you're making like a cake or brownies particularly, right?
Yeah.
Like would this make them too oily or too like they're not gonna rise up enough? I'm not the baker, y'all.
So I wouldn't recommend this at all because I haven't used it, but also I can't see the percentage of like vegetable oil in here to know that if it has too much water. That's kind of the big difference.
Yeah.
So do I know if this would make brownies good or not? I don't, and it's because I can't tell the percentage, which is what I kind of led to earlier, is that on these others, I can see the percentage of oil that I'm going to be working with, right?
Yeah.
So I could say, you know what, I'm going to go with these because of that reason. As far as this one, I can't tell anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have it labeled here for me to be like, this would be great for this purpose. So I'm not going to guess and waste my money.
Part 2 butter will make brownie. 5 brownies.
Oh, no. Stop. Each one of these should make a great brownie. I have no idea with this thing.
Yeah. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope that it was helpful in determining what you should use for this baking season, or if you're watching this 6 months from now, just because whatever you're making. So if you haven't, we would like if you could give this video, I always say like, and I mean always mean to say something else. If you could give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already, and leave a comment below if you agree with us or disagree. You have a different butter you think we should try in another video. I don't know.
Also, if you're making brownies, just use oil. Don't use butter. Butter actually tastes great, but use oil because it's just oil. You don't have to worry about adding a little extra water to it, just straight up oil.
We actually have a great brownie video that we posted about 4 weeks ago. So check that out. Just
there you go, yeah.
You don't need any butter.
Nope.
All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic week and we will see you in the next video.
Believe in good.
Bye.
Peace.